Every project starts with the client needs, which is the inception stage. It describes the client process to establish project requirement and then defines the selection criteria for building the process. The first step is to define the assessment and the needs. It is a process to determine the needs or desire of future conditions. The difference between the current condition and the desired condition must be measurable to appropriately identify the needs. The difference between the current condition and the desired condition must be identified. The client will need to establish a long-term asset information strategy and follow the process during the project to ensure that the delivery goals are met. As an example, let's look at a project, an extension of an existing hotel. We first develop a plan of action to address the assessment and needs for information management process. For this, the client will need to appoint individual to undertake the information management function. The client must establish clearly the team in charge of the process on their side, define responsibilities and competencies. The client can also seek support or delegate the information management to a third party. Establish a project information requirement and delivery milestones. The client must understand what information is needed at each key point of the project to check in on the available strategic objectives for the different type of information. Each key decision point will be defined in the project's information delivery milestone, which can include both the client and the delivery team information. Following our example, the client will define any information related to the hotel project such as milestone, delivery information, the number of rooms, base finishes, and even the number of lamps. Establish the project information, standard, production method, and procedures. Information standards comes from the exchange of information between parties, classification and level of information, and the intent of use for the operational phase. Prediction methods and procedures should be established to capture the existing information in order to generate, review, approve, and deliver information. The client will define which object classification to use, like the Omni class, and define the level of information for each project. For example, the hotel wants to manage the guest key access code of the room during asset management. Maybe the hotel software can also only read codes with number of but no letters. The client could establish or require a specific software such as Revit to be used at even specifically certain usage rules. Establish the project references, information and shared resources with the existing asset information and any shared resources like templates or libraries. This will avoid the duplication of efforts and other interoperability issues. For example, our client may provide a 3D scan of existing building, the material and furniture libraries that the hotel brand approved, a BIM execution plan and a master information delivery template. Establish project, common data environment and information protocol. A common data environment CDE is a single source of information which collects, manages and distributes approved information. It is typically served by a management system that facilitates the sharing of information among project teams. Information within a common data environment needs to carry different attributes such as status, classification and user information. The common data environment should be defined and set up by the client, or at least the client should describe the essentially required features so that the delivery team can select the appropriate platform. If the client doesn't feel confident about doing it themselves, they can ask a third party to host, manage or support the project common data environment. The client should also define the information protocol, including any associated license agreement. A web-based common data environment such as BIM 360 and ProjectWise should be able to provide any security, manage user access, submit reviews, get status information and so on. Once the client establishes their needs and organize them, they can start the bidding process. An invitation to bid is created by compiling the information developed during the assessment and needs activities. The client will provide the exchange information requirements, assemble references and share resources and describe the bid responses requirement and selection criteria. And these are the first step to initiate any new project.